leather gloves, we're slapping in hams, popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands, pink cotton candy, love on a stick, who's chasing the beer, they circle the lips, play ball, play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laughter Saves Lives. Live here on Strong Island Television, Paradise Studios in beautiful Massapequa, New York.
Beautiful downtown.
Right by the Italian restaurant. There's the diner on the other side over there, a CVS. Used to be a Chinese restaurant. Obviously, it's closed now. I think it's still there. We are here, sponsored by the law firm of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. I did that right up front and banged it out. Did I not? It's good to see you back, my friend.
I'm so glad to be back.
You haven't been in a few weeks. Now, I apologize because we had to explain to our listeners we're a professional show.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
So if one of us is going to Disney, I don't think it looks right saying you went to Disney.
That's right.
I'm here by myself. So, and then maybe you got sick. So I told everybody you had a rash for the last month.
Well,
I'm going to apologize for that.
Not a rash. It was monkeypox.
It was monkeypox. But I was telling everybody you had a rash. It'll clear up. And I apologize. Happy birthday, Sandy Ellers, one of my favorite comics. I saw Tony Landothi's birthday is also
today
what we'll mention.
Happy birthday to Tony.
Very nice. So we had no guests. We had our comic, Rob Ward, who's coming on towards the end. But other than that, our two guests canceled. And I'm saying this could be a challenge. We can do it. Richie and I.
No worries.
Stories, and we could do it. And Richie could make fun of me
it's
for
just
a
who
long.
wants to listen to us for 45 minutes?
We don't even want to listen to us for 45 minutes. So we landed two guests tonight that if we booked the show 2 months in advance, we'd say
you couldn't have even gotten them like that. This is
beautiful. Eddie Brill is with us tonight.
Yes.
Eddie Brill used to warm up the act for the Letterman show. He used to warm up. But Eddie is he is one of the Facebook guys that Facebook was made for. The stories that he tells, wonderful stories. You read it and you know Eddie's writing a book.
Right.
So Eddie is on. We'll get some great stories out of him.
Comedy royalty.
Comedy royalty. And I asked him to come on, and he said no. No, he said yes. He said yes. And then we got Jim Mandrino's
unbelievable.
Another
legend.
Comic who's been around forever, but now he's producing. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. And we're actually working on a project together, Jim and I.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to thank all the people that when I put on Facebook, help, I need a guest tonight.
Yes.
I actually went on Facebook and was begging that I needed a guest.
I saw that, yes.
You see all the wonderful people that responded?
They are.
Weren't that tea time for Teresa? She was just on a few weeks. John, if you need me. David Weiss. You know David.
How many? Of course I do. How many?
Well, you didn't get it. But when I said David Weiss, you went.
I love it. No, David Weiss is longtime friend. Fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
But like, I just think it's upsetting if you don't select them. Then it's like, oh, you got somebody better.
I felt that way.
You got to watch yourself.
I felt that way. Well, maybe other people responded first.
Yeah, sure. Go with that. You didn't.
I'm going with that.
So you went with Eddie Brill and Jim Mandrino.
They responded right away because they're good people.
They were the first ones.
They called me, Rich.
Yes.
I went like this, send, and my phone rang.
Yes.
In fact, Eddie was calling me for something else. He was already on the phone when I put that. Right. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking for... He goes, oh, wait.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't that right?
That's great.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But there was a guy on there, Gregory Cave. Do you know Gregory Cave?
Of course I know Gregory
You do?
Cave. Very funny, great talker.
Is he a comic?
He is actually Cave.
Statue.
I got the name, but he does everything in churches. If you see...
I saw it.
Stained glass.
He didn't say stained glass. He said statues.
Everything.
He does everything.
The trees, the tree of life.
Check this out.
Can I say one thing? He has a great story.
You're co-hosting.
We'll get him to come on.
You can say thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I could chime in.
That's why we have you.
But he has a story where they like a 10-foot Jesus on a cross,
Right.
and he had to carry it on the roof of his
No.
car. So the whole time on the parkway, Jesus is flying atop his car. But he has a lot of great stories about, and he.
Oh, that's great.
You got to get him in the future.
But I was
He's
thinking,
great.
I was looking at,
And because he's part of the church,
Yeah.
churches, he saves a lot of lives.
he saves a lot of lives. He saved Jesus there.
That's a
He
criteria.
saved Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing? So what I was thinking though is,
Yeah.
if we made a statue of you,
Yes.
right? I was actually thinking this. Rich. Now, what are those things called where they exaggerate a certain feature?
What would you exaggerate on?
Well, let's not get down in the gutter.
Yeah.
All right? Let's not get down in the gutter because what you're going to say that you can't exaggerate that any more than it is. But let's talk
You
about
can't. It's only so.
what would your statue look like, and where would it be displayed? Is what I want to know.
I think I would be like this.
Nice. All right, just
Yeah.
a basic thought,
Like I'm thinking
right?
about some fantastic, delicious material, right? And then people could come over and maybe a few benches, or better yet, you know what I think I want? I want a bronze statue
Bronze.
of Rich Walker sitting on a bench,
Nice.
and people come like with my
And
arm like
peeing
this.
on it
And no,
No,
they
no.
sit and they take the picture with me.
with you
Right.
down at the. I would. Okay, let's
That's what
let's
I want.
ask
I want one of
Greg
those.
how much it would cost to get a statue of you made.
And we'll put it like in my hometown Deer Park.
Do you
in
think
front of
it-
the library?
Do you think it would cost more or less than Jesus? Your statue. Watch your answer. He's listening.
I'm not sure about that. But you know what it is? I want to be put in front of a library because it's kind of ironic. I've never even read a book.
Is that what they do in
Maybe I
libraries?
sit there and I'll be reading a book.
That you bring up a good point, and my family's going to believe this.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I read other than a children's book to my grandchildren, a
Right.
book.
Right. What have you read?
I read stuff on the internet, little articles. I read Eddie Brill.
Yes.
I read Eddie
I'm
Brill.
looking forward to that.
Me too. Me too.
Howard Stern's Private Parts was the last book I read when it came out. When did that come out?
I don't know, but do you do Wordle?
No, Wordle?
Wordle.
No, I've never done
Okay.
it, but I see people
I have
post-
never felt more stupid because I'm getting it in like 6. You only can have 6 tries. I'll show you how to play. Do you know how to play?
No, I want
Okay. You got to finish it in 6 tries.
Right.
And you get letters, and if they're in the right place, whatever. My sister's always sending me, she gets it in 3 and 4. Everybody's always sending me how I just feel stupid.
And what was the least amount you got it in?
Well, I got it in probably 2 or
14.
3. No.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Just when you feel you're not stupid enough, they come out with Quirtle, which is 4 games at the same time. And my sister's going, is this fun? And I feel like an idiot.
Do you ever see the people at bingo that could play 20 cards with no chips?
Yes.
No chips. They
Yes.
just look at it like
You
in
play
the-
bingo? You go to bingo?
Well, I did years ago, of course, you know.
And you grew out of it?
Yeah, well, we do it like once every 3 years.
My sisters were over this weekend from Pennsylvania. I did I catered 2 dishes from Iverone's. Give
Yeah.
Iverone's a plug. Delicious. What do we cater from them? Chicken marsala and steak something or other. Bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
Something be like that. Very delicious. Because I didn't want my wife doing anything.
Yeah.
I ended up running around so friggin' much. I was
Just to do
exhausted.
the dinner?
Yeah, well, I cooked sausage and peppers. I made some sausage and peppers. I was exhausted.
Of course. You're fine. You
Exhausted.
have to make sausage and peppers.
I
Isn't that one of the rules?
It is. You're
If you're a
right.
fireman, you have to make sausage.
I have my
I've
own.
never been to a fire department function where they didn't have sausage and peppers.
It's a staple. I use a little vino. I use a little of my wife's sauce in there. My thing is I don't want to overwhelm it with the peppers.
Yeah.
Mine is more
Onions.
Mine should be called sausage and peppers.
You know what's
Oh,
the
that's what it
best?
is called. Okay.
You know what's the best? You ever have the sausage at the carnivals off the truck in that
Are they
big
good?
roll? Oh, so
The roll is good. The roll has got to be fresh.
Yes.
You're ruining the whole deal. Now I cut the sausage in slices.
It has to be a hard roll.
Yeah, but it's got to be a hard, soft. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be
Yeah.
fresh. Sometimes you go to like City Field and stuff. I haven't bought sausage and peppers there in years.
Yeah.
I've gone to so many games this year.
Yeah.
And they have such a variety now. I took my daughters the other day. Did you see the pictures on
Yeah,
Facebook?
sure, yeah.
We went. My
Yeah, the
son and I have
blast,
6. And every month, every game, we bring somebody else. and we brought my daughters.
Will you have an extra ticket?
We bought 4 tickets,
right,
2 each, and we bring a friend every time.
Now,
we've had
season.
We bought 15 games, and every game I brought a friend of mine.
Right. It's weird. I like the Mets too. Every now and then.
You picked that up every game, and I was waiting for you to go. No, we only had 6 games, and to be fair with you, I brought the people up with Met fans.
Yeah.
And we brought the girls the first game.
Yeah.
The wife and the wives, and then the second game I brought Les Deegan, my son brought a friend. I brought Pat Marone. I brought Santo.
Right.
So you would say all of those guys are more passionate about the Mets.
Oh, they love the Mets. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So that's why.
But I would even go get a hat.
Okay, September 17th, Laughter Saves Lives tailgate at Citi Field. I got your ticket. I have your ticket.
Yes.
You want to come?
Yeah.
I think it's the 17th or the 22nd. I'll check before we're done.
September 17th.
Or the 27th. It might be 27th. We're all going.
Okay, good.
We're all going. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to break.
No, we're not going to go to. I knew you were going to say that. We're not going to break now.
What would you like us to do?
I'd like you to keep talking. It would be nice.
Okay.
Are we going?
I want to talk about this.
The man has been away for months. It seems.
All right, so we're not going to break now.
Okay, we're not going to go to break. I want to say.
But now
that you came on and told us 8:15. 3 minutes you got.
Gotcha. Let me talk.
All right.
I just putting it out there
because people are loving.
I'm not
this.
A sports person. Like
I know.
I even say to Matt,
nothing against that.
I wouldn't know one sports celebrity if it wasn't for Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
So, but my son and I both love Ranger tickets or Islander tickets.
If they're free.
Well, if there's anybody out there, of course, if they're free.
All right, I'm going to buy you a ticket then,
no,
so you come.
Buy me. Oh, well, I'm going to go this with you.
All right, good.
So we're going to have fun. Me, you.
Well, let's not go over the whole thing now because I got something important to say about my dishwasher.
Yeah, what happened there?
Know. This is a section of the show. What do we always say? What? There's a lot of important issues. We put them all aside.
Yes.
My dishwasher has been out of service, OOS, as we say at the fire department, for 5 weeks. And here's why. Call them up. 2 weeks to get an appointment. PC Richards service. They show up, right? I'm down. They call 7:30 in the morning, not the day before. 7:30 in the morning, we're on the way. I never get that call. I was sleeping late that day.
Right.
They show up at 10 after 8. I'm in the bathroom, in the shower. They take off and leave. I get the message at 9. I call them back. No, we can't come back.
We can't come back.
Can't come back.
Next job.
So what's your next appointment? 2 weeks.
Was that for a new one?
I just bought it during COVID. They come back.
Yeah.
The guy walks in, and he does this. Presses one button on the dishwasher. He goes like this. And he looks at me. He goes, okay. I go, you know what it is? He goes, oh, it's the motor. They go sometimes, and he's quick. I go, really? How did you know that? He goes, I press the button. Watch. It's going to blink 4 times. Now it's going to pause. Now it's going to blink 3 times. It's the motor. I go, she couldn't have told me to press that button a month ago? And you could have ordered it and showed up? Am I wrong, Rich?
Thanks for listening. It's so infuriating, I can't even tell you.
We're going to go to a break, and we'll be back with Eddie Brill.
Great.
I had to think which guest was, because I don't like my notes, because I'm professional.
If you spent time downtown on 9/11 or in the 8 months after, you were exposed to toxic air and may be eligible for compensation from the $10 billion 9/11 Victim Fund. But most people who qualify still haven't claimed what they're entitled to.
I worked downtown. I didn't die. I was an office worker. I felt like there were others who deserved the money more than I did.
A major reason people haven't claimed the money they're due is guilt. They feel guilty claiming funds when others died or were first responders.
I heard there were 9/11 funds, but because I wasn't a first responder, I did not apply.
You do not have to be a first responder to qualify. This fund was created for everyone who worked, lived, or attended school south of Canal Street, who may have experienced or have experienced respiratory illness or any of the 68 cancers linked to the toxins. Even if you have a family history of cancer, there is a presumption linking most cancers to the toxins.
I thought it was too late to make a claim. My spouse worked downtown at a bank and died of cancer. Honestly, I just haven't felt up to it.
The government's $10 billion Victim Fund and Health Program have been permanently extended. You just need to have been below Canal Street on 9/11 or at any time in the following 8 months. To see if you qualify, call or go to 911fund.com to speak to a representative of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community.
There are many reasons people who are eligible for compensation are not stepping up to claim it. To those who are holding back, I would say just take the first step. Ask for help. Make the call. It's not too late.
I called and I qualify.
I qualify.
I qualify.
Millions of dollars remain unclaimed. You do not have to be seriously ill to qualify.
I think I covered everything that we wanted to talk about up front.
Yeah.
That was good.
We did good. I told you there's no
Like you never left.
I'm right back in the saddle
You
again.
are
Am I right?
a great co-host.
I am.
But talking about working on a big show.
Big show.
Big. This next guy, he was the warm-up comic for The Late Show with David Letterman. And that starred David Letterman, by the way.
Iconic.
Iconic.
He's iconic.
That's a long word for me.
Yes.
Eddie Brill is
Give
here.
it up, Eddie Brill. Not only fantastic comedian, but also one of the nicest guys. You only hear his name in good light.
Only good things, and Eddie didn't even not know what show he was on tonight. I think somebody gave him a link.
Yeah, you gave me the link.
Okay.
Well, I think I've done Laughter Saves Lives. I've done events for you guys, but I think I did one chat maybe.
Yeah, it's memorable, obviously.
Yeah, but it's so good. And you know, it's funny. You talk about the Mets. I'm such a Mets nut. I'm recording the game now. I watched a little bit early. Don't say a thing about what's going on, and then I'll watch the rest of it when we're done here.
Well, I did the same thing. My wife is watching it, and she called me. Do you know what the score is? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, we don't want to know.
You didn't even start watching the game.
Oh. I'm recording it.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's all a secret. And I was just at a game recently, though, an afternoon game against the Reds. And, you know, the Mets are doing so well that their afternoon game was packed.
Yeah.
Midweek. Wow. It was kind of cool.
Did they bring out the trumpets that game, Eddie?
They did not bring out the trumpets. They won 5-1. Or no, that was 10-2. That was that day game. They scored 10 runs. So
yeah.
You know, the only trumpets were.
That brings me to my first question, I think. And by the way, that is the greatest thing right now in Major League Baseball, to hear that boom, 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 and it is the greatest thing. It is so much fun. We were there the other night. My daughter was on the ice cream line, and I just left her there because I knew they were bringing it in. I'll be back.
Yeah, exciting.
It's really nice. And, you know, the catcher for the Atlanta Braves is using that music for his walk.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Nah, but it feels weird. It almost feels like, okay, I'm putting it in your face, but
it's not the same. When they, last week when they didn't go to commercial on TV, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everything's about money and commercials, but this is so powerful and people are so tuned in. So, you know, I guess whoever the advertiser who went on next. Probably paid a lot to let them have the whole thing go by without a stoppage.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a question kind of related to that. Now you, with a warm-up act, you rubbed elbows with a lot of important people, a lot of stars, right? Was there ever anybody that invited you to a sporting event? You know,
Rangers too. Crazy Rangers fan. You know, hockey is one of my favorite sports of all the sports, and I love all of them.
Me too.
But Letterman was a big hockey fan as well.
Was he?
What did you say, Rich? What'd you ask?
No, me too. Hockey is my sport.
If it's a free ticket, that's a sport.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because hockey, it is only, you know, what is it? 41 home games, so they have to charge you $75,000.
Sure.
Just, you know, just to go there. But Letterman loved hockey as well, and also appreciated the original six. So if a game was between, you know, two original six teams, you know, we would go he was, it was really nice. I mean, it was those were really fun nights. We'd have dinner, we'd go to see the Rangers play. It was what a thrill.
It is amazing. You know what would be a lot of fun? I was just thinking, what about me, John, Eddie, and Dave? We all go to the game together, the hockey game.
I have Dave on the other line, and he's waiting to point out if you guys are free for the,
you know what it is? You don't want to sit there, though, and everyone's like, who's that?
Who's with
those
Dave?
Guys with Dave. No. John and Rich.
Who's with Dave? Who's with John and Rich?
Just so you know, I got a guy. I got the guy. Yeah. Dancing Larry used to work for me.
Wow.
Who's Dancing Larry?
He was one of the Rangers.
Oh, I don't really watch hockey.
He's not one of the Rangers. He's the guy that dances up in the top, right?
So who picked up the check, Eddie?
I never touched. I tried. I mean, he was such a generous. I mean, still a generous man. He's very charitable guy. You're with him, he won't let you do that. You try because I was with him for 17 years, and you try and you try, but it's like he won't do that. I mean, it's one of the many things that people don't know about him is that he's so charitable, and he never want to put his name on it. Like,
wow,
at Christmas every year, he would go to Iraq or Iran, and and he would bring Biff Henderson, and he'd bring some other people over there and celebrate Christmas with the troops, and not have cameras and stuff taken, like, hey, look at me, I'm being a good guy. He would do that. He would just go over there and like in the times of Kandahar and things like that, he would bring Paul Schaefer and Biff Henderson, and they do a little show for the folks. And at Christmas, you're away from your families. It's it's such a beautiful gesture. And then, of course, after 9/11, we had our firehouse in our neighborhood. Instead of a Christmas party, Dave, gave all that money to the firehouse as one of the many things. He hates when people say, how generous he is. He's very, makes fun of himself, self-deprecating when people, like people say, hey, Dave, you're my hero. And he's like, oh, you're the one, or he'll always throw something back at him. But that's one of the most beautiful things about him, how charitable.
That's
He's
a great
awesome
story.
Guy. You want to hear a real quick story that happened to me with Dave? I call him Dave. Sometimes
he calls you Dave too.
So
it's weird.
We go, my wife and I, this is years ago when they had the NBC tour. We go on the tour and they come in, they go, listen, David Letterman would like to film a commercial for the NBC tour. Can we use your group? So we're like, yeah. We spent all day filming all these funny scenes in the hallways and everything with Dave. And there was a scene where he goes, you're going to love the tour. And the elevator doors open and we come flooding out, like, because it's packed with so many people on the tour. So I waited up every night for, like, I'm not kidding you, 37 nights. And then it finally aired. The doors open and it's a different group.
Oh.
It wasn't even us. That's
because most of the time they'll shoot something for that night, and they'll have many choices because you want to overshoot. You want to have more stuff to choose from. And then they all get together, and the writers and Dave and the producers and everyone gets together, and they go over what they're going to do. And sometimes, hey, how about this idea? Like sometimes he would always talk to the audience before the show started. Yeah. And I remember one time there was a guy from who come over from a war zone, and he was this very fresh faced and Letterman loves all the armed services and he, like I said, he's that charitable guy. He changed the whole top 10 list before the show. He says he grabbed everyone and said, all right, think of top 10 things and then you have to say, sir, yes, sir, at the beginning, at the end. And it was just so fun and funny, and you had to think in the moment, and and everyone on the staff is sitting there writing 7 or 8 of their own, put them all in a pile. I guess the writers went over them and with Dave. So, there was a lot of spontaneity that when Dave had someone he interviewed 1 million times, he would poke them a little bit, like make fun with them. So that made it really, and it was always enjoyable and brilliant to be on that stage, but to have the freedom to be artistic and to take it to the next level. You know,
Yeah, I like the segment with the woman from across the street.
you're right.
And I watched YouTube. I watched every segment one night because they have, on YouTube, back to back to back to back.
I did the same thing because Meg Arendt or Meg
Make something like that.
Yeah, Arendt
Ooh,
or something like that. And I had seen it, occasionally,
right?
Because I'd watch the NBC show,
right?
But that wasn't. I was only there from '97 on, which was
okay.
You were at the Ed Sullivan Theater, right? Were you at NBC at all?
No, I wasn't there. I was over there for other shows.
Right.
NBC filmed a lot, including Conan, and there was a lot of like NBC comedy series or something like that.
Right.
And we filmed there.
One time I was online at NBC to see Conan, and they came over, and I don't know what you call it. Well, I guess they stole us offline. They said, "Hey, you want to go over to Letterman to see Letterman? We'll give you front row, and we'll treat you great." So we're like, let's go. We saw Conan like 8 times already, and we saw Dave a few times too, and saw you there, of course, always great. So we go over, and they had on Paulina Poroskova, and some guy wrote a book. So I go on Conan to watch Conan that night to see who the guest was, and it was Sylvester Stallone.
No, wow.
We missed it. Like, no.
And you did get me tickets once. I had a friend in town, and you did get me. No, it might have been for one of the 9/11 widows. I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, because Dave wanted to. We could have sold that theater out 1,000 times over. There were so many requests. So Dave wanted the real audiences who were, he didn't want us to bring people. Like if my mother came into town, they'd be generous, But and they were very generous. But really and truly, he wanted the fans who were coming in for the show. And most, most of the people in the audience were from out of town or other countries. Probably 1% of the audience were New Yorkers.
Yeah.
People had the impression, they're such a New York crowd. Well, they're a crowd and they're in New York, but they're not New Yorkers.
Now, do they shoot that show every day straight through, or was there ever a time, I'm sure there was, where something happened where they have to pause and go back?
Very rarely. It was,
really?
We try to, we filmed 4 days a week. There was a time when we filmed 2 on Monday, and the second one was the Friday show. And the same thing with when they were doing 2 on Thursday, which I liked because when they were done, you got a 3-day weekend, so it worked out really nice. Either way, it was Monday or Friday. But the news was always, like for instance, there was one time I think when what's her face, Paris Hilton was going to go to jail, and Dave had filmed the monologue, and then Paris was out of jail before the day. So during the week he shot it. He changed his suit, went on, did the same thing with a different Paris Hilton joke, and then she went back into jail before the week was up, and then he kept the original show. And that's not a secret. I mean, that was on the news and everything.
Yeah,
just to get off of the subject with Dave for a minute, I just want to talk about you for a second. You have I've met you a couple of times through the years. You don't remember me, but I've been doing comedy now for 28 years. And every time I've ever met you, whether it was at Caroline's or whatever, you are the perfect gentleman and always treated the younger comics, not younger by age, but in the business.
That's what happened to me. I was so, I could give you, a list of people who helped me when I was a young comic, and it's name drop city. You know what I mean? It's like some of the greatest comics history of the world, including people like Joan Rivers helped me with my first Letterman set.
Wow.
And Don Rickles and David Brenner and George Carlin, my hero, and I became friends. And it's just so surreal, all of that stuff. But growing up as a comic, there's a guy in Boston named Don Gavin who was incredible. He is an incredible comic, still at it all these years.
Yeah.
Which is great. And he was so good to me at the beginning. And, there's a lot of people who are really good to me. And I vowed that I, would, because it makes such a difference when you're doing this incredibly challenging job, which is, I'm so lucky that I got to do it as a stand-up comic, to have people there to catch you when you fall, people to support you. So that's what I decided I would do it. And for 14 years on Monday nights, I used to host the comedy show at Caroline's, and I would always look at comics, and I always let them know that, you know, if you do well or you do poorly, there's so much work ahead. If you love it, stick with it. Because you know, I quit I started in very late 1970s. Quit in 81 because I thought, I don't know if that's going to be a career. Then I went back in 84, ran the Paper Moon Comedy Club. I don't know if you ever knew that comedy club. It became the Boston Comedy Club.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I started that room in 1984. And, you know, there was one time when Bobcat Goldthwait went on stage, and he was so brilliant. And I was talking to other comedian, and we're like, our mouths agape because he was so smart and funny and original. And I said, you know, I think I should quit because I'll never be there.
Right. I've been there.
How can you know? That's a different human being.
Yeah, I'm there all the time. We got to go because we got Mendrinos in the waiting room there. Is there anything you're working on?
Yeah, tell us.
A million trillion. I have a million things I'm working on.
I
don't want to mention the ones, you know, that old jinx if you mention them. There's a couple of big series I'm working on.
Okay.
And you know, so and I'm writing all the time, and you know,
awesome.
I also teach workshops. I got a workshop in the middle of September at the West Side Comedy Club. If you know the West Side Comedy Club, look it up and you can sign up for it.
Yes, take Teresa.
Wait,
all right, Teresa's there. All right, so we're going to get going with Mendrino.
Tell Mendrino.
Yeah, Mendrinos is in the waiting room there.
But Teresa Farrell says hello, and also Mark Hirschman said hello.
Yes.
He said,
great.
You know that?
That's great.
You
And
know,
Mendrinos and I met at that club I was running, the Paper Moon. So I've known Jim since 1984.
Hey, you want to say hello? Let's bring Jim Mendrinos in. He's a producer.
Hey guys, hey Eddie, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm so happy that you're on this. But I thought, you know, I wouldn't be able to talk to you. So
well, it's good that we're able to talk.
Separate.
Yeah, I don't think they want us in the same place at the same time.
I don't blame them. Can you?
I don't think so.
Well, there's a lot of funny on that TV.
There's a lot of funny right there. But Eddie, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Yes.
Thank you for
I look
filling
forward to
in.
working with you in the future.
Awesome.
Same. Have a great night, guys.
Be well.
Bye-bye.
Eddie Brill, man. Eddie Brill. Back to back.
And now the legendary
it's like the
Jim
Yankees.
Unbelievable.
The legendary. Wow. That's
back to back, belly to belly.
Mets or Yankee fan?
Mets. Oh, old school.
Now I know.
Don't tell us.
I was a Mets fan when Don Hahn was their starting center fielder.
The Stork, George Theodore. Remember him?
Oh, he's a little before my time.
There you go.
My favorite Mets player of all time is still Duffy Dyer.
Oh my God! Wow.
Good
you know who I used to love as a kid? Don't laugh at me. I'm not kidding you. Everything on my shirt was 26. On my bat was Dave Kingman. I loved him because
Dave Kingman was.
Dave used to come like he looked like he was half in the bag when he showed up.
It probably was.
You know, I don't know what he was doing the night before.
When I was a kid, I would play hooky and I would go out to Shea Stadium. I'd take the train, go out there. I'd always buy 2 upper deck tickets because if you get in 2 and you turn back just before you have to move, you go, "Hey, Dad, where do you want to sit?" And then I turn around, go upper deck. They think I'm calling out to my dad. It was there. I was playing hooky, and I would get 2 tickets, which cost back then $2.20 for the 2 tickets.
Right.
And I'd get them, and I'd go up there. I wouldn't go up all the way. Remember the long ramp you used to have to walk up?
Yep.
That's it. So if I would always do the right field one, so I could yell out to the bullpen. Because back then you used to be able to yell to the bullpen, and Duffy Dyer was always the warm-up catcher in the bullpen. And for years, Duffy, throw me a ball. Duffy, you know, you're 10 years old. That's what you do.
He couldn't reach the upper.
I had just a collection of balls that Duffy Dyer would throw to me.
Oh, that's
over and over. And then I met him. I want to say going back about 8 years ago. He was managing a team up in Connecticut. And I was there like, you're not going to remember this. But you go, oh, I remember it. You're one of the kids that kept annoying us.
Yeah.
Apparently we all did that.
Duffy, that kid's out in the stands again.
This is not about me. I'm supposed to be asking you questions, but I'll tell you a quick story, very quick. I was working overtime at Yankee Stadium during the playoffs. I go to the bathroom. I have my FDNY all kinds of hazmat meters. Walk out the wrong door, and there's this idiot standing there, full uniform, Pedro Martinez uniform. And I look at the guy and I go, what a friggin' idiot. Then I go, wait a second, I'm in the bullpen. It's Pedro Martinez.
That's great.
Oh, God.
Tell me about some of the stuff you're working on, my friend.
Well, I'm working on your documentary. That's a big thing that I'm working on.
Docu-series, we're calling it, right?
Yeah, it's a Laughter Saves Life docu-series. We've done a bunch of filming. We got a little bit more to do. Right now, we're in the culling area of it, where we're figuring out which quotes we want from whom and why, and then putting together a story. And it's nice and it's compelling. And, you know, the organization does a lot of good, and hopefully this will help raise awareness, which will, in turn, hopefully help raise a lot more money, you know, because if you guys get more money, you can help more people.
That's
absolutely,
right.
absolutely. That's why we're going down to Kent, Ohio. I'm driving out there. We're actually raising money in memory of my guys that were lost on 9/11. Rob Ward is on the show. Next comic coming on to buy coats for children who don't have coats.
Wow.
One of the things I love about the documentary, it's a quote, and it's actually a quote from John. When I asked him, why'd you do this? Why'd you start the shows? And he said, because they always made me laugh and I wanted to remember them with laughter. And that seems to be like the most fitting legacy. You're remembering these people with laughter. You're remembering them and actually making other people's lives happy in their memory. That's one of the best ways I've ever heard of raising money for people.
Well, it's very therapeutic for me, and you guys were very professional. We had some fun, but you kept me in line. And
it kind of was like herding cats. I'll be honest with you.
I know.
Hey,
imagine if the two of us, this poor guy had to deal with me.
Jim, how's your leg doing?
Yeah, how's your leg?
Remember
that? It's still healing all this time later. And it's it was 13 stitches that day. For those of you that don't know, I cut my leg earlier in the day when I was supposed to go out and do a Laughter Saves Live show. And I went out there and I did the entire show, the entire interview process, and we filmed the documentary. And then I was going to do a spot on the show after the documentary. And all during the documentary, people are saying things like, why are you standing in a pool of blood? Why are you turning green?
He really was. They rushed you to the hospital from the show.
Well, they sent me over to an urgent care place, and because we knew it was bad, because John was just like, just let the paramedic take a look. And I was there like, no, because we're from the generation where we just walk everything off.
Right.
That's our generation.
And that night, I was so looking forward, real quick, Butch, I was looking forward to headlining that night. And it's the first time ever a hospital actually got somebody in and out.
This is why we have to have Jack Cloonan on every show.
Yes, because he's in EMT.
Oh, right.
One of my favorite moments, though, was when I walked back in, because they were there like, don't worry about the show. And I'm there like, I'll be back. I'll do the show. They're like, don't worry about the show. And I literally walked back in, and everyone's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing back? You know, how are you back? And I'm there like, I'm back, and we got
before you got back, John said to me, he goes, Richie, don't worry. He goes, if he doesn't make it back, I need you to close it. I'm going to double your pay. But then you came back, and
I did.
No, I'm kidding. We'd love to have you.
Did you really need the extra $20?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And so
$20 comes in handy.
You have your own comedy club. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. We in February of this year, John Gild and I had an opportunity to take over a restaurant in Newark, New Jersey, and with the idea of putting together a comedy club, because there's a beautiful back room that has around 65 to 75 seats, depending on how we want to seat it. And when it came up, we were there like, I don't know. And Newark is the largest American city that's never had a full-time comedy club.
Look at that.
Yeah, so they're like, and it's not a mystery why. Rascals, which was once the best comedy club in the world, was in West Orange, which literally is 15 minutes from Newark.
Right.
There was never a need for it, but Rascals has been closed over a decade now. Yeah. So I turned to John and went, all right, let's put together this club. And we put it together on the fly, and we've been getting it there. And, everything's kind of gearing up towards September as our official launch, because we had to figure out what was broken, how to get an audience there, who the audience should be, that kind of thing. But we're, everyone hears Newark and is a little bit scared, like, oh, it's Newark. We're literally across the street from Rutgers. We're literally like in the middle of a college
Right, a
town.
great area. Tell everyone the name of the club so they can look for it.
It's Comedy Therapy, and you can go to comedytherapy.com to find it. And we're in Annabella's Kitchen, which is the restaurant that we took over that has the comedy club in it now.
Beautiful.
I know that we tried to work out a date, but maybe we could do like Richie and I come out one night, maybe
we like work too,
We'll do like a Laughter Saves Lives thing.
You guys are always welcome. Always welcome.
Good.
We could even announce it on the show. A Laughter Saves Lives.
Oh yeah, we'll do something.
Oh, yeah.
We'll raise a little kid. We'll make sure that we take care of Jim. Though it's a business, but we can have a raffle or something, and
earn some money for a good cause too.
Yep.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What else? What else you want to talk about that you're working on?
Just working on a whole lot of things. I've got a movie that I directed before the pandemic, which is going to premiere at the Turnpike Film Festival in New Jersey on the 31st of the month.
Nice.
So if you go to turnpikefilmfestival.com, you can find it. It's called Syzygy, and it'll have its actual world premiere. It took us so long to edit it because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it's a feature film. It's the second feature film I've ever directed. So, it's going to be fun. And beginning that journey of getting that through the maze and through all the festivals and to get recognition and then hopefully distribution. Those are the two things you want to have.
Well, we're working on our screenplay. So since you're getting all this experience, that's excellent. Excellent.
I'm happy to share the knowledge.
All right, my friend. We appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
I know it was last minute, and I apologize for that, but I really appreciate it.
Anything for you guys, and keep up the good work. I don't think people realize how much you've dedicated to Laughter Saves Lives and how much money you've helped earn and distribute to so many people that really need it. I mean, just some of the stories that I was hearing while we were making the documentary, tremendous respect for you, John.
Oh, you made my day. Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you. Richie thinks I'm an idiot.
No, I don't.
We're going to go to break, and we'll be back with Rob Ward. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jim.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
See you soon.
Talk to you.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Rossi.
And I'm Arthur Lee, the creator of LifeVac.
We're here today to announce that to date, LifeVac has saved hundreds of lives of people who almost died due to choking.
People may not realize that on average, 14 people a day die from choking-related incidents. Every 5 days, one of those lives is a child. That's why I created LifeVac.
And as a new mom and from housewife to housewife, I felt compelled to share with you the discovery of this life-saving device.
LifeVac is a simple-to-use airway clearance device. Just place, push, and pull to save a life.
And it costs less than it would take to fill up your car with a tank of gas. Imagine being able to save a life for less than $70.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
That's LIFEVAC.net.
Please don't allow one of your loved ones to become the victim of a choking accident.
So I don't forget, next week, Butch, the producer, the man, has got Rob Ward, who played, not Rob Ward, I'm sorry, Ralph Mouth, who
Donnie Most.
Donnie Most, on Happy Days. We landed that guest for next week, and I was telling Richie that he immediately called Butch and asked who the co-host was, because Anson Williams said one of them is a jerk.
Right. And I want to talk about that because Anson Williams was not happy with me. He
was not.
He says, "Would you shut up already?" He goes, "You're the worst interviewer."
Well, on that, before you go to Rob, I just want to mention we just had our LifeVac commercial. Yeah. 417 saves. Saved a 15-month-old baby today.
Wow!
Fantastic.
Yes,
they're unbelievable. It's a great little device. Great little device. It should be one in every house, every car, every school.
Every firehouse, every rig, every ambulance, we got to get them out there.
Yeah.
So our next act, we met online this week. Roger Paul introduced us. We're doing the show in Kent, Ohio.
Yeah.
In what is it? September. What the date is?
September 13th
and
14th.
And we needed a headliner.
Right.
And we found Rob through Roger. Watched some of his stuff. He's hysterical, and he's here for us tonight to do a little funny. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rob Ward. There he is.
Look at him.
He's a headliner, this guy.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. Tell us some of the clubs that you've worked, the big rooms.
The big rooms. I just got back from Start On Comedy Club. That's one of my favorite comedy clubs in the country. Start On, Alabama. What's that?
What town is that in?
It's in Birmingham, Hoover, Alabama, but Birmingham. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the biggest cities. I think it holds like 450, 475.
Wow, that is a huge.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch, 45 minutes of your stuff, but are you a clean act?
So I don't consider myself clean, but I definitely could do clean. I just my dry bar should be dropping any week now. So I just did a dry bar. So I could do both. I prefer to be myself, but I could definitely be clean.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And you were a firefighter for a little while there. What happened with that?
Yeah, so I always like to tell the guys, especially like you talk about these guys in 9/11 and stuff like that. I don't like saying I was a firefighter for long. So I went to the University of Akron here in Ohio. I went to that fire academy there and graduated from the fire academy, went to EMT basic, and got hired at Lakemore Fire Department in Ohio, not too far from Kent. And from there, as soon as I got hired onto the fire department, I was given an opportunity to go on tour full time as a comic. So, yeah. So as soon as that was one of my dreams, and then another dream came knocking at the door, and I jumped at that opportunity. So
to be on Laughter Saves Lives.
Yeah, for sure. It came back tenfold.
Good for you.
So tell us what else is going on.
Oh man, so much. So we got the show coming up. I'm super excited to meet you in person. Got that show coming up. Get to perform for firefighters and give back a little bit there. Then I'm heading to Denver, Colorado next week. Got some shows up there, and Miami. I think we have Miami coming up, and a couple other Florida dates coming up. And coaching. I'm just coaching my daughter's softball team right now.
Oh, really?
With that, yeah.
How are they doing?
They're good, man. They just made some travel teams, a little bit, higher competition for them now. So I'm excited. They're doing good.
Do you remain calm?
Yeah, I'm pretty calm. I'm more vocal at practice. I'm kind of like tough on them at practice and let them play the game.
Why in girls softball do they smack the glove and go, "Ay!" It's like really aggressive. Do they?
It's like their grunt. It's like pitchers in the MLB that throw it, just trying to get that extra push, try to get the extra miles per hour when they're pitching.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I was I used to coach my son in baseball, and there was a guy who was in a post office outfit with shorts on, and the poor umpire, the poor umpire was, just trying to get us out of there. It was like 15-1, and this guy screaming and yelling, and he was big. He was a big guy, and everybody was agitated with him, but nobody was saying anything.
Right.
So at one point I turned around and I go, "Hey, let the kids play," and I turned back around and I hear, "You talking to me?" Excuse me. He goes, "Are you talking to me?" I go, "Not with those shorts on." I didn't know what to say. And then as I was running towards the van, I said to the guy, I went like this to the guy, right?
Yeah.
One of the kids on the bench, really loud so the guy can hear it. He goes, "Hey, John," this is my son, "I think your dad just gave him the finger." And it was nasty.
Wow.
So any experiences like that with the parents or?
Yeah, we just had one of the guys on our team get kicked out of game a couple weeks ago. He was going off and cussing and screaming and stuff like that. I don't get that. It scares the kids. It makes them. It also gives them that bad habit too. So
yeah,
I don't like doing that. It's softball. It's little league.
Right. Anything else? going on in your life that you have in your act? Like, do you talk about anything personal? Or
Oh yeah, man. I got 3 girls, man. I got 3 girls, so you'll see on the 13th. I talk about them a lot. I'm super emotional now. My daughter made softball. When she made the team, a travel team yesterday, I cry about everything, man. I'm a big crier now.
You got
I know I got the beard. Yeah, big black dude. I know I got the beard, but I'm such a softie, man. I'm a crybaby. So I cry a lot. I'm a really emotional guy. So you'll see me talk about that a lot on stage. I was even watching Finding Nemo with my kids, man. I started crying when I was watching Finding Nemo.
That's funny.
I don't even know how I got emotional watching that, but it's super emotional. I talk about my kids a lot. And my wife, me and my wife, we joke a lot too.
Yeah, Richie and I both have kids. We get that. In fact, I had a 7-year gap, and that's the only reason I had a 3rd child. I needed more material.
Yeah. So you got some emotional guys too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I have 2 teenagers. What?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Emotional?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Richie wasn't here last week. I got emotional. I was crying. I was missing him.
I did call in though last week from the car. I was at a concert. I told him I had COVID.
Hey, that's a great excuse. Nobody can argue that.
Yeah,
it does, right, Rob? It cuts you right off. I have COVID. Okay, well,
you can even say, "Hey, I got COVID symptoms."
I got COVID. Right.
Yeah.
I have a tick in my throat. Don't come.
Oh, you didn't show up last night. You were supposed to. Oh, I wasn't feeling like.
How much longer do you think we could use that excuse though? We got a couple years we can use that though.
I think a couple of years, right?
Well, Richie ran out of grandmas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Rich, how many kids did you say you have?
I have 2 teenagers. One just went to college, and one is still home.
Boys or girls?
My boy is home, and you guys were talking about sports before. He's the worst in sports. This kid, he slid into 3rd base, and the coach was fuming mad, not because he got out, because he was running from home. I mean, this is how bad this kid is. So I was crying.
That's not right.
That's crying.
That's hilarious.
Yourself, Rob.
Yeah, give us what else? Yeah, what else?
What else I got going on? Yeah, so I'm just now getting into some script writing and stuff like that. I got some stuff like your first guest said. I forgot his name already. I'm sorry. He's super. You
got to look him up.
He was great. He was.
Oh, he's a legend. He's a legend.
He was taking notes. Yeah. No. Yeah. So yeah, like he just said. I don't want to. Yeah. I heard. That's awesome. Yeah, I got some scripts I'm writing. Like I said, I don't want to jinx anything. With that, kind of got, especially with the script writing thing, because I'm pretty new. This is my 2nd script I'm working on here now. So, just working, man. I'm a road dog right now. I'm 13 years in, and I'm on the road a lot.
God bless you.
Are you married, Rob?
I am married. I just lost my wedding band.
What?
I just lost my wedding band at softball practice, taking the gloves on and off. So
that's another one. Yeah, I use that sometimes.
How does she feel about you on the road all the time?
What's that?
How does she feel about you on the road all the time? Does she go with you?
She goes when she can, but we got kids, so she doesn't go a lot. But she's really supportive. She was there at the beginning of my career, so she's seen me kind of grow and blossom to where my schedule's busy. So she understands.
You know what, Rob? I always say this to my wife too, because she doesn't like to travel, and she really doesn't. When I was doing gigs or whatever, she didn't go. But for us as comics, and let's see if Richie feels the same way, knowing that someone is taking care of stuff at home, holding the fort, so to speak, allows us to mentally do what we do.
For sure. You know what I struggle with personally on the road is turning it on and off. So like if I'm on the road, I'm in the hotel, it's peaceful. I'm basically an entertainer, a celebrity all night, and then I come back home and it's chaos and I'm not used to noise. But then when it's time to leave back on the road, I'm missing my family. So it's hard to turn that switch on and off constantly.
Yeah. Well, you find a happy medium.
We got 1 minute.
Where can we find you, Rob?
That's what I was.
Go ahead.
No,
look at you guys. You guys got good chemistry. Rob Ward Comedy on all social media platforms. I'm trying to do a little TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff. You guys can find me on there, and check out my Dry Bar special. Should be coming out any week now.
Good.
We are excited to have you on the Laughter Saves Life show.
Thank you.
And we plan to go back to Columbus because we were supposed to do a second show. So
Nice.
this is the start of a beautiful relationship, my friend.
For sure. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Good. Rob Ward, people.
Thanks,
Rob
Rob.
Ward. We'll see him on September 13th in Ohio.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
All right. See you, brother. All right. That's another put it in the books, as they say in the Met game. Another Laugh to Sage live show. Richie was back. Everything ran beautiful.
Look at that.
We didn't even see Butch. Did we see Butch?
Well, a few
My
times.
memory's
He
going.
came- he
Yeah, we saw
dropped
him.
in to
Okay.
say hello.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week with Ralph Mal.
Donnie Most. Donnie Most.
Ralph Mal. Donnie Most. Good night. We're going to the diner. Take care.
Old leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the beer, the circle the lips, play ball. Play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall. Play ball. Play